Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
So we will begin with introduction, okay, of Rundeck. But before that, let me introduce myself. My name is Rajesh Kumar, and I've been, into the. I mean, for so many years, I've been into the corporate trainings and consulting programs. I have close to 18 years of experience in the working domain in the software industry. And some of the companies where I have worked, which includes Accenture, Mindtree, Adobe System, Intuit, ServiceNow, JDA, Nest Technology, IBM Labs, and all stuff like that. So from last few years, I'm doing the consulting and training program for the various organizations, and that is how I'm helping you right now. Yes. So anything information about myself, you can find out on my website. That's called rajeshkumar.xyz, and my email address you have it, so you can drop me an email. Okay, so what is the outline for the day? So today we are going to have approx 2 hour sessions, and I'm going to cover some of the stuff which includes what is Rundeck, what does Rundeck provide us, deployments, and use cases are some of the missing things, and including the summary. So before that, I would like to cover some of the high level terminologies which we need to know before getting into the Rundeck. And the first terminology which we need to learn about toil. What is toil? And if you are coming from the operations background, if you're coming from the SRE background, probably you must be familiar with the toil. But now, yeah, if you're not familiar, though, I'm going to share with you at a high level, at the fundamental level. So simple, as you can see on the screen, one image itself will depict the toil. So a toil is something where you spend too much of physical labors. You can say it's like a manual work, repetitive work, which is considered to be a toil, which can be automated, or it can be designed and programmed in a way to get the task done in an easy manner. So rather than repeating the task, manual work and all, it's a basically it can be automated. So yeah, that's a toil. In a generic perspective, this is called toil. But we should know what is toil in terms of SRE practices and operations practices, right? So before that, understanding the SRE and operations and all, we should also get comfortable with DevOps. Okay, DevOps. Now, one more thing I would like to tell you. Let's say if you want to know a little bit more about the toil, okay, at the end of this session, at the end of these slides, I have given one URL, so you can check that also and get understanding of the toil. That's a very important concept, which we all know that, because let me remind you, you are joining a sessions of Rundeck, and Rundeck primarily be using the operations, productions, SRE team and stuff like that. So if you're ops, Rundeck is for you. If you are in SRE, Rundeck is for you. If you are in AppOps, Rundeck is for you. So primarily Rundeck is designed for managing the operations. Okay, but yeah, many places where you can have a development also team using the Rundeck, QA people also using the Rundeck for having a greater visibility of the production service. Yeah, so that's the things. So now, what is the DevOps? Again, I'm not going to give you the very lengthy jargons about the DevOps, but the fundamental we should know. And you see that here, as per the image, development teams and operations teams coming together and working for everything. That's called DevOps. Simple. Development and operations team coming together and a DevOps. But again, one more thing, I have a 4 hours of recording only on the conceptual part of the DevOps. Okay. So again, when you get access to LMS, you can access all the videos and you can, deep dive into the DevOps concept. But right now, that's not my topic. But I wanted you to remind it. Yeah, we are working in a DevOps project nowadays. Sometimes it's a DevOps, sometimes it's a DevSecOps, sometimes it's a SRE. So it depends on. So yeah, this is the DevOps concept. So in a DevOps, what happens? Everything is done by only one team. So like one team itself will do the coding, planning, coding, build, test, release, deploy, and monitor, and everything will be done by only one team. So that's called DevOps. So now if here you see that the DevOps team is starting from the design, development, testing, acceptance testing, delivery, support, maintenance, and capacity. Everything is done by one team. There's only one team, that's called DevOps team. So there's no dev team, there's no QA team, there's no operations team anymore under the DevOps concept. Only one team, that's called DevOps team. But now again, we have one more terminology nowadays, and that we call it a DevSecOps. So what is a DevSecOps? So here what has happened, DevOps is a wonderful thing, right? DevOps is a wonderful thing, but under the DevSecOps, we introduced all the security practices, all the security related practices along with the DevOps. So that means development teams and QA operations team club it together as part of the DevOps. Now we are asking this team, DevOps team, hey, you do take care of all the security concerns also. There should not be any other external teams for it. You guys only, you have to do that. So for example, during the plan, you have to do the threat model coding standards. During the code, you have to study code analysis. During the build, you have to vulnerability scanning, penetration testing, compliance validation, code signing validation, monitor, detect, respond, and recover. So all this related to the security, DevOps team only has to do that, and that's coming under the DevSecOps. So now if you see that here, DevSecOps, earlier DevOps team were doing everything: design, development, testing, acceptance, delivery, support, maintenance, and capacity planning, but along with that, security practices also. So now this is called DevSecOps in a simple way. Now again, I have one recordings which is of close to 2 to 3 hours, which you can get access in LMS, and you can deep dive into the more conceptual stuff of DevSecOps and how can you practice, what are the tools available, and everything we have. Okay, now next thing which you need to aware about the SRE. Okay, so what is SRE? So here you see that let's say many projects, they don't want to practice DevOps. I repeat, many of the organizations, they don't want to practice DevOps, DevSecOps. So what to do in that case? So they have migrated to SRE concept. That means development team will become a development team only, and an operations team will transform into SRE team. See that? Development team, engineering team, whatever you want to call it, it's up to you. Development team include the development plus QA, and operations team, which will get migrated to SRE team. It's a conceptual migration. So then you will ask me, Rajesh, what is the difference? I mean, what is the difference between ops migration to SRE migration? So you look at this here. Earlier, ops team were not working very closely with the development team, but with SRE introduction, okay, now you see that development team and SRE team is working very closely with each other. So look at this here. A development team who's doing the design, development, testing, and acceptance testings. You know what? During all the design, development, and acceptance testing, they involve the SRE team. Same way, SRE team earlier, they were not talking to the development team, and they were running all this infrastructure in an isolated environment. Now, during the delivery, during the support, and during the capacity planning, they do involve the development team also. So now the development team and SRE team will work together in a sync for having shared goal, overlapping skill sets, consistent tools, and common basic stuff. So this is at a high level definition of SRE. Again, in LMS, you will find a few recordings on SRE. You can refer it in detail. So are we comfortable? Any questions about it? What is a TOIL? What is a DevOps? What is a DevSecOps? What is SRE? And this, I just wanted to give you the high level knowledge, not deep dive into that. So, but are you comfortable with these terminology? All of you, any questions?
So Rajesh, coming to SRE, basically they are not part of the core development, right? So again, what would be the scope of involving on the development and designing phase of SRE?
So simple way, the SRE team will be separated team, development team will be separated team. But what will happen? The SRE team, as part of the SRE concept, what we practice, like whenever the development team will do the some sort of designing of the product, then they will also involve SRE team. So that way, that let's say the architecture, the capacity planning, and all this kind of things can be designed from the scratch level by the SRE team. So they will be development team will involve the SRE team for for making it aware like what kind of design we are making. You also be prepared for the operations. Same thing, what kind of development we are doing, you also please be prepared for the development runtime operations. So if they will be in a sync, so it will be easier for running the entire productions and development. Make sense?
Yeah, understood.
Yeah, so it will be separated team, development team will be separate, SRE team will be separate, but they'll be working together, okay? And they will be involving each other for any decisions they make it. So it will be having greater integrations basically, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, now coming back to our primary topic, and that's called Rundeck. So what is Rundeck here? So basically Rundeck, it help you to formalize your ops procedures. Yes, ops procedures, whatever we do in ops or SRE, it will help you to formalize your ops procedure. Primarily, it is designed for operations. Safely enable self-service ops. That means anyone can use it. There's no dependency on it. And built for DevOps demand. That we were discussing about the DevOps, right? So DevOps, one team everything, every phases of the SDLC cycle is done by DevOps team alone. So DevOps team, so if they are having a tools like Rundeck, which is a self-service tool, so any DevOps engineer, which is a part of the team, can do everything on the pre-production, production servers or development servers. So like that. Again, this is the open source Apache V2 license, and source code you can find it in the GitHub also. Okay, so more about this Rundeck. Yeah, so Rundeck is a runbook automation that gives you and your colleagues self-service access to the processes and tools they need to get their job done. Okay, when used for incident management. Okay, so Rundeck you can use for the incident management also. So Rundeck will help you to have a shorter incident and fewer installations. That means, let's say there is one incident has occurred. Now, when you have a Rundeck, let's say if the issue has to be solved in 1 hour, probably using the Rundeck, you can solve in a less span of time, let's say 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or something like that. So that way it will be having the fewer escalations. Now, when you can use the Rundeck in the general operations work, so Rundeck will help alleviate the time consuming and repetitive toil that currently consume too much of your team's time. That means some of the stuff which you do manually, or some of the stuff which you do on repetitive way. Okay, and that also it takes so much of time. Okay, so for those kind of activity also you can use Rundeck. Okay, so now Rundeck is developed in Java and Grails 3. Okay, I repeat, Rundeck is developed in Java. So that means, let's understand in this way, any product which is developed in Java, you know that is a platform independent. That means Rundeck you can install in the Windows also, and you can install in the Linux also, and with the Grail 3. Now, earlier the Rundeck was developed by a company called SimplifyOps. Okay, but now PagerDuty has acquired this product. So now you can say it was designed by the SimplifyOps, but now it's owned by PagerDuty. Now it's again, as I discussed, the source code of the product which you can find on the Apache, and it is actively developed, and the current latest revision which you can find is 4.0.1. Now you can see the below here the snippet of the GitHub. You can see number of forks, number of stars of the source code, which you can find it out right now on the screen itself. Okay, so yes, let's understand a little bit of more about it. So with Rundeck, it is a simple and easy to create workflow, also called jobs. Okay, now what is a workflow, what is a job, and all stuff like that, I will show you the demo also for that. But for time being, anything which you want to do, let's say deployment, let's say let's say some scanning the directories, or let's say doing some sort of administrative work, patching or upgrade or anything you want to do in the lots of servers. Okay, so that we do through the jobs. Okay, so we can create a workflows and jobs for any of your existing tools and script. That means you can use any tools for the sake of, let's say, Terraform, Ansible, shell scripting, bash scripting, API calls. So anything you can use that actually. So it's very simple, easy and simple to create workflow. Trigger Rundeck jobs from the web UI, API, CLI, or schedule. That means, see, when you want to do some work in your operation server, so you create a jobs in the Rundeck. So that Rundeck job, which you have configured it already, that can be triggered in a various ways actually. So UI, the one which I'll show you in the demo today only, API also, command line and schedule also. Rundeck access control feature makes it easy to safely delegate control of tasks to those traditionally outside of the operations. That means anytime you create a project, anytime you create a jobs inside that, basically you can have a greater access control, role-based access control applied. So someone should be having this access of this project and someone should be having another access. So those kind of things you can do it very easily at a Rundeck. Also, Rundeck does not make you replace the script, command and tool you use today. So it's not like that when you implement the Rundeck, you say, no, I don't need an Ansible, or I don't need a Puppet, I don't need a chef, I don't need a Terraform, bash scripting. All this is not like that. It's but rather than you have to use all this script, all these tools, all the commands, all the scripts inside the Rundeck environment. Now you use Rundeck to execute workflow across your existing automations, which I discussed, and quickly previously manually process. With Rundeck, you can use the automation skills you already have and add a new ones as needed. Out of the box, Rundeck gives you a capability that would be expensive to develop and maintain in-house. Okay, understand that here. It's very important thing. So similar functionality, if you want to develop your own, or maybe if you want to buy from the market, it's very expensive. But Rundeck will give you that all this capability, which is very cheaper. So workflow control, you have it in Rundeck. Scheduling capability you have in Rundeck. Error handling you have in Rundeck. Logging you have in Rundeck. Role-based access control you have Rundeck. Option of passing you have Rundeck. Log filtering you have in Rundeck. Web UI, REST API, and integration with the hundreds of other tools you have with Rundeck. And that all this feature is coming out of the box solution, easy to use, easy to manage, and easy to optionalize. So everything you have in the Rundeck. So let's discuss some of the features of Rundeck. So yep, Rundeck features distributed command executions. That means you can execute the command from the Rundeck to the distributed infrastructure across the remote servers also. Workflow, the one which we have in the Rundeck, including option passing, conditional, error handling, and multiple workflow strategies. That means any jobs and workflow you execute in the remote servers, okay, it can have options passing. Option passing means you can pass the parameters to it, and based on the parameter, the jobs will be sending that the jobs will be working in the remote nodes. Okay, that can be. You can execute the jobs conditional also. You can do also error handling also, and multiple workflow strategy. Also, Rundeck supports pluggable execution system. That means support the SSS, WinRM, PowerShell, API, Telnet, many things it supports to execute that jobs in the remote server. Okay, again, pluggable resource model, that means get a detail of infrastructure from the external system also supported. On demand web UI, API and CLI, or scheduled job execution. Secure key store for the password and keys. Role-based access control policy with the support of LDAP, Active Directory SSO. Access control policy editing and management tool. History and auditing logs feature. Use any scripting languages here and supports it. So these are the primary features what we have in Rundeck. Okay, these are all the things we will visualize that in a little bit of time during the demo. Okay, so what kind of solution is been given by a Rundeck? So basically, Rundeck will help you primarily to resolve urgent incident in a real time. Okay, so something which you want to do urgently, Rundeck will help you to resolve that, and it connects responders and event triggers to save delegate automation. So for example, let's say there is one, I'll give you one scenario here. There's a there's a production server you're running. You have 20 machines in your production server. Suddenly one of the machine has reported saying that, okay, there's a less disk or less the machine has been stopped, or maybe stopped processing, or some issues in the request timeout. So suddenly you can run this command through the Rundeck and find out, okay, there is CPU issues or disk space issues, RAM issue, network issues, application issues, process issues, security issues. Immediately you can run the command. You don't have to ask anyone's permissions to run those stuff. Okay, so using the Rundeck, you can basically reduce the time to resolve the incident. Okay, so yeah, speed up mean time to resolution, enhance engineering productivity, and increase team and innovation capacity. So this is done by Rundeck. Another solution which is being provided by Rundeck is to reduce the toil and operate faster with the self-service automation. That means there is no as such like only one person will be responsible for doing everything. Every team of your DevOps team or SRE team, he can work directly as a self-service on the server without compromising the security of those servers. Okay, for example, if you want to know the disk space, for that, why do we need anyone's special permissions or maybe server access and stuff like that? So that can be done by you also, and anyone else also, and it should be a self-service. So anyone can go and hit some of the commands and get some of the important statistics without changing the characteristics of the server. So yes, that way you can reduce the toil. Again, here reducing the toil means you can automate some of the maintenance tasks you do on daily basis or weekly basis or monthly basis, which is again time consuming, manual and repetitive. So that kind of stuff you can automate it through the Rundeck. You don't have to do everything on repetitive way. Yes, so using the Rundeck, you can reduce the toil and decrease number of tickets. Using the Rundeck, boost productivity of operations team. Using the Rundeck, increase innovation and capacity. Okay, now the last solution which is provided by Rundeck, primary solutions, self-service in the most regulated and secure environment. Okay, so you know that when we have a production servers, we hardly get access to it. Okay, we have very limited access to it. So here what you can do in order to, depending on the access permission, this, that, and all, those servers, those production servers, you can add to the Rundeck, and using the Rundeck, anyone can do any work in terms of some checks, some finding some information from the servers, maybe seeing some problems area of the server. So all these things you can do it through yourself using Rundeck, and that will be highly regulated and secure environment. That means you will not get access to the server, but still you are able to run the commands into the server. It's like that. So for example, if you want to know how much free memory you have, so for that you have to log into the server, correct? And then you can run the command. But rather here in this with the Rundeck, you are not having the access to the server. You don't have a password or keys to the server, but still you are able to run some commands, and you're getting the output of it. So this kind of stuff which is provided by this kind of solution which is provided by Rundeck. Okay, so yes, in this case, move faster and locks things down. Granular role-based access control, fewer errors and inconsistencies. Okay, so this is the things. So we have discussed about so far what is Rundeck, what are the solutions which is provided by the Rundeck, what are the features of Rundeck. Anyone have any questions so far? Anyone have any questions?
So Rundeck, it's not like a scheduling tool, right?
It has a scheduling as a feature actually. Okay, so you can automate some of the work which is done on repetitive basis. You can automate through that without getting access to the server. And same time, okay, you have lots of other features. Scheduling is one of the features. You can write any sort of commands, and it's a self-service, and logging is there, access controls are there. All these features which we discussed, it's available in Rundeck. Okay.
Okay.
So why Rundeck? So some of the stuff we have already discussed. So yes, common place for implementing workflows and job. Yeah. Why we are using Rundeck? So let's say we have a 30 engineers. So if you give, you can't give the 30 engineers to the access to the production servers or an operation servers. So rather implement the Rundeck, give access to Rundeck, and he should be able to do whatever they want on the production servers. Okay, so that way, who's doing what, and what kind of access you can be allowing and stuff like that. Everything can be given to the at a Rundeck level. So that way, it's a common place for every teams to do the any kind of checks or schedule jobs or something like that. It's in Rundeck. So yeah, we discussed about this. It provides the fine-grained access control. It provides the traceability, who is doing what kind of work, auditing what has been done so far, and all logs and all. Delegation internal sensitive tasks to other groups without exposing credentials and procedures. That means if I have a this task assigned, but I want to get it done by someone else, so you don't have to pass the password to that team. So still he'll be able to do that through the Rundeck. And complete log of every executed jobs. Okay, again, toil, the one which we are discussing. Rundeck is to improve the work lives of operations professions, reducing the toil, maximizing engineering time. Does just that. Okay, so there are some of the other stuff which we have to reduce the toil. So Rundeck is very important tool to reducing the toil. If anyone will ask you, hey, SRE, we want to reduce the toil, so what to do? Which tools to be implemented? So the first tool you should come into the mind, that's called Rundeck. Okay. Okay. So yes, also it helps operations team to manage the hell lot of tools, hell lot of programming language, hell lot of platform like a VMware, Windows, Linux, Chef, all this thing, AWS, all this thing. Okay. So you can see here, there's a one scenario here. We have a development, business, and testing team. They want to do the things faster and they want the more access. Whereas the operations team, what they want the environment to be resilient, secure, and auditable. And security has to be managed, compliance has to be managed. So here there are different interests of this, development team, QA team, and operations team. How can we manage all these things? So that's where the Rundeck will help. So Rundeck will give us self-service capability to the OE developers, QA, and operations, whereas you get a visibility of also who's doing what and what kind of access everyone has it, and operations will manage this, all this infrastructure, different tool set, different configurations. Yes, Rundeck can become an integration point for every access situation. Okay, so yep, few more reasons why we have a Rundeck. Using Rundeck, you can run predefined jobs, predefined script. Using the Rundeck, you can run ad hoc commands. That means you don't have to access ad hoc commands, but automatically you can run it. Trigger job by the API is also supported by Rundeck, and get good. Okay, so now we have a Rundeck release. Initially, I stated saying that Rundeck is an open source solution. Correct, all of you? Hello? Yes. But now I'm changing the little bit of versions of it. Why? Because Rundeck recently, after acquisitions of PagerDuty, there are lots of changes that has happened in the Rundeck. So yes, we have a Rundeck community version, the one which I was talking about and which is very popular. Rundeck Enterprise also we have, and Rundeck Cloud version also we have. So community version and enterprise version you can install in your infrastructure itself. Community is a free, enterprise is a paid one. Okay, whereas cloud is basically based on the cloud and you have to access it through the username and password. There are 3 different releases which we have, and today I will be showing you the community one. Then in our next upcoming sessions also I'll show you the enterprise one also. Okay, so you must be asking, Rajesh, what is the difference between community version and enterprise version and cloud version? So let's discuss at a high level. You see that here, left side you have a community version, right side you have an enterprise version. Okay, so some of the stuff which you don't have in a community community version, which includes professional support, enterprise ready, pro plugin, pro means advanced plugin, advanced workflow capability, replication and failover to standby, multi-node cluster capability, centralized log servers, stores and all. These are the capabilities you don't have in enterprise, you don't have in a community, whereas you have in enterprise. Now, if you say,
along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.